Okay, so if you guys don't remember, I made a few tweets about Wuthering Waves, right? I made a few tweets criticizing Wuthering Waves, especially for the story, right? I made a video as well. We got a lot of comments on that video. That video is actually did pretty decently in terms of view count, but I pretty much in a span of a week or so made myself the Kurobots, the Wuthering Waves, like public enemy #1. I don't know, not #1, but I definitely think I put a huge target on my back. I do think everything I said was pretty justified. I think I've been pretty fair. You know, Wuthering Waves, I think, is a good game with a lot going on for it. I just didn't like the story. I thought the story was dog shit. What I talked about on my Twitter is over here, I was criticizing the story, talking about how Rover doesn't really feel very compelling as a protagonist. We have this tweet over here from Mr. Vonnegut. What's wrong with stories that focus on the main character? Isn't that how a story is supposed to be? That's the most normal thing in a story, which I feel like is the most disingenuous, the most dishonest tweet you can make, sort of countering the criticism on 1.3 and how the story in Wuthering Waves has progressed thus far. You know, no shit, a hero story should focus on the protag. The difference is that nothing about Rover is compelling or earned. Rover, walking one-man army, runs over any amount of Fraxidus. This happened in 1.1. No one questioned Rover when they said that they would just kill everyone in their way during Mount Firmament, right? No one doubted Rover. Rover said it like they obviously they could just kill anyone standing in their way. They waltz into a time-space anomaly. That's Mount Firmament because they're immune to everything. They made the Avengers equivalent. That's the Black Shores because they're such a great person, obviously. Invested in the world's, I guess, salvation. They artificed a perfect waifu out of Sonoro because why the fuck not? I was wrong about this. Okay, I will admit. They did not create Shorekeeper. They did about everything else but make Shorekeeper. Shorekeeper was made for Rover to be used as a tool for Rover, right? Explicitly for Rover, and shortly after that, Rover would teach Shorekeeper everything about how to have emotions and design her in such a way that she would be used or could be used with the Tethys system, possibly as a core, so that they could research into laments and prevent the destruction of mankind. So they did everything but make Shorekeeper. You could even say that they parented or groomed Shorekeeper, but that's a discussion for another day, maybe. Anyway, nearly every female is climbing on Rover's towering, massive cock solely to inflate the player's ego. It is the most boring thing, and this type of tweet I do think is really illegitimate. It's not an actual counter to anyone's complaint of this story. So, a lot of tweets later, you know, I definitely have sort of painted myself as the bad guy for Wuthering Waves because I have a lot to say about the story and I got a lot of pushback for it, but I am very firm on my belief. It's not very good. Fast forward a little bit, okay, and I did get this one tweet. I did block this person eventually because he would go on to spam under every one of my tweets things that were not very relevant. I said, apparently to Kurobots, if wuwa was written differently, they'd be cucked by Shangliao, XLY. Rover has to be worshipped and praised by every banner waifu. Otherwise, a literally fictional character would swoop in and steal their fictional girl. This level of insecurity is fucking wild. And this is in response, I quote tweeted this person. He was responding to my tweet over here that did pretty well. He was responding to it. He was saying that maybe you'll like it different. Who knows what you consider worthy as a story? Who does the effort gets the rewards? And I thought, like, I didn't really understand what he was saying because he's kind of like speaking cryptically here. But he's saying that whoever is saving the day, whoever is doing the work should get the waifu, right? They should win love or win whatever the hearts of the people. Because what he quotes or what he shows is this green post, this green text post on 4chan, which is sort of like a summary, a response of how Wuthering Waves story would be if it was written by MiHoYo, right? And long story short, this is just a summary saying like Abby's gonna interject and sort of summarize everything like Paimon would, and you'd be cucked by Shang Liao. So this is what I said, right? That they are very insecure. Their mortal fear is being cucked by Shang Liao. I think this tweet did a lot worse. I don't know if 4 replies is all it is. I think I did get ratioed. Yeah, I get ratioed. I think I blocked some of these accounts. Like, I'm being honest. I got ratioed. A lot of people came onto these tweets and ratioed the fuck out of me. This one got ratioed, right? And just a lot of negative attention. Not a lot of people believe this take. This one got ratioed. Super hardcore ratioed. And what it was a quote tweet of Ryuku Sensei. Ryuku Sensei is a wuwa shill, but I like him a lot. I talk to him a lot, and I think he's a really cool guy. And so let's read what Ryuku says, and let's read what the thing he quoted says too. This is really the heart of the matter that I really kind of want to talk about. So from Narushio, he says, Narushio is the Japanese name for Wuthering Waves, by the way. To Wuthering Waves players, there isn't a better rover between male and female. They both share the same role and storyline. The choice is entirely up to your own imagination. Whether you prefer M rover or F rover, it's all about how you experience the game. Personally, I play both, and each offers a fun, dynamic experience. Okay, very good. But what is Narushio talking about? Why the tweet? The reason why Narushio is making this tweet is because a lot of people in the Wuthering Waves community are actually saying that male rover is more canon and more appropriate and the better of the two in terms of illustrating the story. And you might be wondering, like, why? What makes male rover so much better than female rover, right? A very innocent question. And the same thing, Ryuku Sensei also wonders why. I literally don't understand people that say, yeah, I ship M rover with Shorekeeper, but not F rover, or vice versa, or literally any MC from any other gacha game. They're quite literally exactly the same person when it boils down to it. Totally agree, right? He doesn't get it though. Calling it out, he's like, why are people saying this? Why are people saying M rover is the one true pairing for Shorekeeper but not female rover? And so I try and break it down. This tweet, again, got ratioed. No one wanted to believe it, but this is what I said. A lot of wuwa fans have an obsessive trauma over being cucked. Female rover is inferior to them and absolutely cannot be shipped with Shorekeeper because it opens the possibility of Shorekeeper being non-hetero, bisexual, gay even, putting them that much closer to their absolute greatest fear, that of being cucked. Showcase the green text post as an example. I firmly believe this. I do believe this, and we're gonna see this sort of kind of come to light. Now, let's move up, let's move forward, right? Fast forward to October 12th. It's been a day. This is from Stix. Stix is a gacha content creator. Definitely seen a lot of his videos if you watch a lot of YouTube from gacha gaming. And Stix is a big wuwa shill. Wuwa is the game for Stix. Stix loves Wuthering Waves quite a bit. Now, let's read his tweet. All right, I need some of you guys to pitch in here. The last 3 streams I've streamed Wuthering Waves, I've had complaints from various people telling me I'm playing the game wrong because I play female rover. That the real way to play is to only play male rover. That male rover is more real. That male rover is more impactful because of the male to female relationships between him and characters like Yin Lin, Chang Li, Shorekeeper, etc. Do any of you feel that way? That's the real way to play this game, or that the real way to play this game is male to female and female to male only? To me, at the end of the day, they're the same character. With the same lines, same personality, same likes and dislikes. They're not a gender, they're a character. A granted fictional person, but they don't need to be male or female to be loved or in love. That's something you can't control. I love playing female rover because I like her aesthetic more. That's it. It doesn't lessen the impact of scenes or relationships. I feel them just as deeply. It's bothering me a little how some people come into streams to tell you there is only one real gender if you care about the love story and relationship between the characters. It turns out I was right. There is a really significant chunk of the Wuthering Waves community that are really pushing on this, and I never really thought of it this way. But I read a reply to Stix's post, and it kind of like opened this line of thought for me. It's from Maddie. Maddie, which VTuber? It is just thinly veiled homophobia, that they don't like you're playing female rover. To be honest, I wouldn't even give them the time of day. Video game characters like Shorekeeper are likely the only way they'll ever feel like they're in a relationship, which is exactly true. It is thinly veiled homophobia. Like I said, it is not just a fear of getting cucked, but they don't want any possibility of Shorekeeper being gay. They don't want like any possibility, any chance, and they don't want these headcanons to exist. It is exactly this I said. They do not want any possibility of being cucked by anyone, not even female Rover. Shorekeeper is the embodiment of self-insert waifudom and a huge win for them. Female Rover presents a possibility of getting cucked. So I made this tweet, not a lot of action here, but this is what I said. And I want to know what your guys' thoughts on this are, because this is something that even Stix, who loves Wuthering Waves, he's also noticing this weird behavior. And I think it's really dumb. Play who you want. Like, what does it matter? Like, which gender someone plays. If you're playing your own gacha game, your own playthrough, you're going to be able to see male Rover or female Rover interact with the characters however you want. So what does it fucking matter? Why go onto someone else's stream to push this shit? And I definitely think it is a result of the way Kuro Games is writing their story, right? Because with 1.3, I do think we're heading in the direction for Wuthering Waves, their story just being Calamity and Waifu of the Month. It's like a Saturday morning cartoon, right? Or an American Saturday cartoon, where the attention span of the player base or the average viewer for these shows, the target audience, is so small, so minimal that every new episode has to be a new story, right? Because 1.3 can exist in a vacuum. I firmly believe that. I do think that this is the direction their story is going. And the way Shorekeeper is written, the relationship that she has with Rover, I do feel like it is in direct support of this really, I guess now you could say it's like pushing into toxic territory, self-insert waifudom. They're very encouraged to see everyone, all the characters sort of form this harem around Rover. And to the male audience, they think, okay, well, it must be male Rover that is more canon, because otherwise, like, some of my waifus could be gay. So yeah, let me read some of you guys. Can say this about the male Rover too. This is confusing. I can suggest some better relationship games with harems. True. Wuwa is the #1 self-insert. Yeah, absolutely. Power fantasy for the CN male audience and the insecure global male audience. Yeah, I mean, I think it's for both at this point, CN and global. If Wuwa brings more male characters, it'll be a war between the males versus Fujo lesbians player base. Even worse war than what Genshin base did. That is a great point. Yeah, this is a great point. If Wuwa brings more male characters, that means that there could be a big war between the male and the Fujo audience. And I do think Wuthering Waves has a pretty significant, like, Fujo, like, okay, let's not use Fujo, like, maybe that's seen as derogatory, but like a female demographic. I do think that there is, like, potential there, and that Wuthering Waves wanted to foster this audience. At least in the beginning they did. Why do I believe that? Is because Jian was the first banner character in the game, the first limited banner, and Jian is a good looking dude, right? And I think he's definitely pushed for a female demographic. And what you do hear a lot from Wuthering Waves fans is, where is Geshu Lin? Where is Scar, right? You do hear this sentiment quite a bit. Like, there are some people, obviously, that would like to just see these characters, but I think the female demographic are huge fans of Geshu Lin and Scar. And I don't think, or rather, I do think that there could be something looming on the horizon when these characters do kind of come out. Because, like, to waste a waifu of the month or waifu of 2 weeks to a male character, when now I feel like Wuthering Waves has kind of firmly placed itself into appealing to this demographic, I think could spell trouble in the future. I think it's primarily self-insert, not homophobia. If it's males, most males don't care about female in terms of disgust or threat, which is different than another male versus female. Since they want to bang the female cast, they self-insert themselves, which means they themselves are males, thus the MC can only be what they themselves are, male, which is different than hating or disliking lesbians. But you have to get to the root of the issue, I think. I think when you say homophobia and you think of homophobia, you're thinking like hatred of gay people or whatever. Homophobia is more like a fear of the gay sexuality. And I feel like that is a real fear that they have, because they don't want Shorekeeper to be in any way, shape, or form like a possibility of them being gay. And Shorekeeper is pushed to be a love interest of the Rover. It's seen in the story. She says, "Is this love?" It's seen in her Ascension lines, right? Where she says, "Thump, thump, that's my heart beating for you. I love you." These are all things that Shorekeeper is pushed to do. And so the fact that they're so strong and adamant about it, I do think it is a fear of homosexuality. If you notice, the main characters have little to no interaction with the bangable female cast. Yes, absolutely, that's true. There is no way that Wuthering Waves wants any possibility of this happening. This is their most dreaded scenario, this green text. And if you want, just pause the video, read what this is saying, and kind of like really understand. It is Shang Liao cucking the rover, and this is the worst case scenario for them. This is what the devs get for catering to a specific player base. At first they marketed both gender MC equally. They released Jian Yinlin. Now, well. Yeah, I definitely think this is something that's going to bite them in the ass. I definitely think this is something that is going to spell trouble in the future for the wuwa audience. Go ahead and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And yeah, I think that kind of wraps up the discussion. Do you guys think that Kuro Games is kind of painting themselves in the corner with the self-insert waifu of the month narrative and storyline and characters that they are releasing? Let me know what you guys think. Thanks.